from the station that's on your side. This is Channel 7 News Daybreak.
Well, good morning to you. It is 6 o'clock on this Monday. It's President's Day, and it's a huge snow day for the state of Arkansas. We're glad you're joining us this morning.
You mentioned it's President's Day. Now, if they weren't already closed for the holiday, most school districts in the state have canceled school or switched to virtual learning for today. To view any closings throughout the week, just visit our website, KATV.com. You can also find school closings on the weather tab on the website, and they're, of course, going to be scrolling along the bottom of your screen all morning. Also, at the bottom of your screen, you're going to find temperatures throughout the morning from central Arkansas. Ours right now reading 10 degrees. We've got team coverage from meteorologist James Bryant and meteorologist Linda Mayo this morning, keeping you up to speed on what's about to come into the metro and looking at what we've got right now. It's just the appetizer for the main course, correct?
Yeah, Chris, it's right now, really, as the heaviest snow is getting rolling across most of the state. Yesterday, last night, I'd call that the appetizer, but the heaviest snow now moving into Little Rock. I just stepped outside. We're seeing at least moderate snow, some heavier snow bands back to the west of the metro area, and then look at south central Arkansas. If that's not mixing with sleet, that's some very heavy snow as well. I did see a report from El Dorado that it is mixing with sleet, but I don't think it should last much longer. Take a look at Futurecast. As we go through the next several hours, heavy snow continues. I think we've got at least 3, 4, maybe 5 more hours of snow, and by the time you get to 11 or 12, it will start to wrap up from west to east. It's out of here by later today. Melinda, a lot of people going to be ending up with 4, 5, maybe 6 inches, but there's going to be a few spots that get maybe a little bit more.
Isn't that something? Let's also talk about temperatures, because we don't want to concentrate completely on the snow and ignore this. If you know anybody that doesn't have power or heat, please check on them. Need to plan ahead. Need to bring the pets inside as well, especially tonight. But look at these temperatures, single digits, 0 up around Harrison, and look at the wind chills that are below 0 for much of central and northern Arkansas. Hour by hour through the day, expect snow through lunchtime and maybe even into the early afternoon before it leaves us. Coming up, we'll talk about that next round that'll be here by tomorrow night. Chris?
Time now for our D3 Auto Sales traffic report, and I want to show you iDrive Arkansas, where every major interstate and highway in the entire state is covered by something. And one of those is going to be a camera that's going to show you what's covered in Cabot this morning on 67. Highway 67, this is looking to the north, so that car on the left-hand side of your screen is on 67 southbound, and the one on the right side's taking the Cabot exit and jumping off there towards Highway 5. You can see not a lot of cars out on the road this morning, and that's that way really everywhere. So let's go up to Conway. This is at the Oak Street exit, Highway 64, and traffic just seeing one car there at this time. And these roads are covered, folks. And we say covered, we mean you're not going to see lines out there this morning. So please use caution. Here's a live look at our camera at the 30 River Bridge, where we are seeing a few cars slowly make their way in front of Simmons Bank Arena and then over the bridge. And here's a look at our 630 camera, east and westbound in downtown Little Rock. A little foggy right now. Can't quite see it, but I can tell you from driving it this morning, 630 covered still at this time as those plows work to try and create some lanes out there for us.
And we want to start your news headlines this morning with the latest on winter road conditions here in Little Rock. Our Alex Birch is live on Shackelford Road near the Big Rock interchange to update you on what it looks like out there. And I know it's freezing, Alex, so thanks so much for joining us this morning. You can tell it's coming down really hard, obviously starting to pile up on the roadways.
Yeah, it's been pretty steadily snowing for about an hour. You just saw a few cars drive by. Other than that, there haven't been too many cars here on Shackelford Road. And you can see the road is pretty covered in snow, a pretty solid sheet of snow. And it's been more than an hour since we've seen a truck come by here plowing and laying some sand down. So there's been some snow accumulation on the road. You really can't see any lanes. And this wind is whipping. Now, they haven't come by in about an hour with the plow, but they say actually clearing these roads is going to take a lot longer than normal because of these freezing cold temperature. There's not going to be any melting that normally would help out the process. Now, I know a lot of kiddos, a lot of families are going to be excited for the snow today, but let me tell you, it is freezing cold. If you're going to go outside, you're going to want to dress in layers, bundle up with your mittens, your hats, get some hand warmers, some boots, and you're going to want to limit your time outside. Back to you.
Great advice there, Alex. Thanks so much. And we'll continue to update you on road conditions in that area throughout the morning.
And with temperatures dropping, fire marshals warning you not to do anything that could put your home at risk of fire. Listen to this. One common mistake the fire marshals see during the winter is the misuse or overuse of space heaters. Fire Marshal Daniel Hollyfield recommends that you do not leave them unattended at any point, and even if it's tough, shut them off when you go to bed.
I know people have got to do what they got to do to stay warm, but just remember safety priority, because during this time we do see an unusual amount of house fires.
Hollyfield says that he's even heard of people using their stove to generate heat. However, he says it's not something that he would encourage.
And continuing our winter weather coverage this morning, Victoria Capek is on your side live at the 6th Street overpass in Little Rock. Victoria, we just talked to Alex. Clearly the snow is coming down there as well, and she mentioned that they hadn't seen where they're located on Shackelford a plow come through in about an hour. Obviously it's really hard to keep up when it's coming down that fast.
Allison, that is absolutely true, and everything Alex said is true. The wind is whipping, the snow is coming down steadily. Now, with plows in our area, right, so I'm right in front of I-30 here. I want to show you there has been kind of an uptick in traffic, but I have seen one plow truck come by that was heading further into Little Rock. I've seen 3 law enforcement officials go by, 1 plow truck, but with regular cars and regular semis, traffic has been picking up here. Of course, we're going to see that more as we reach that 8 o'clock hour this morning, being in the 6 o'clock hour, those who are going. I want to show you something really quick though, right? Follow me down to the snow here. So this snow, this is very loose, right? It's not like the ice and the sleet we saw last Thursday for the ice storm. So the good news is that those of you who are getting out on the roads, there's going to be good traction because of this snow. That said, we're still going to want you to take it slow if you do have to leave your house today. Allison, we'll send it back to you.
Victoria, thank you so much. And you can stay up to date on weather in your area by following our weather team. Just go to KATV.com and click on the weather tab. Well, coming up on Daybreak, experts urging you to keep your house protected from these cold temperatures. We'll tell you what you need to do to protect your pipes next at 6:36.
Channel 7 News Daybreak, brought to you by CareLink. Traffic Report, sponsored by D3 Auto Sales. Weather Cams, sponsored by Middleton Heat and Air.
The time now is 6:10. We continue our team coverage this morning. In fact, going to 10 o'clock with extended coverage as we go through this winter storm. Let me take you to Storm Scan, because what was mostly light snow off and on overnight has become heavier here in the metro. You can see where it's purple and pink. Those returns indicate more moderate to even heavy snow. So that has been moving into central Arkansas as we speak. Those bright pinks out there in Perry County indicating some real heavy snow showers. And then down around Camden and now stretching up, say, into Lincoln County, Cleveland County, just south of Pine Bluff, a real heavy snow burst there as well. Further on down to southeast Arkansas, it looks like we're seeing still a little bit of a wintry mix, but most of this is snow, and it's getting heavier. James?
Yeah, Melinda, the back edge of this snow, which is the main show, is now into East Texas, and it's approaching fast. However, within this area of snow, there's some very heavy snowfall rates, and this is where we're going to see most of our snow. Many people asking last night, where's all of our snow? We've only got an inch on the ground. Well, this is where we get 1 inch per hour rates for 4 or 5 hours, and there's how you end up with 4 or 5 or 6 inches. The snow continues the next several hours through 8 a.m. I think snow is going to be heavy in central, south central, and east central Arkansas. As you get towards the mid-morning hours, it begins to shift off to the east. And I think by 10 a.m., the back edge is approaching Little Rock, Hot Springs, and then by the early afternoon, we are done with the snow this round anyway. This is going to produce, I think, a large swath of 5 to 8 inches from back into southwest Arkansas, and Little Rock points to the east. I do think someone gets a little bit higher amounts off to the east of Little Rock. Impacts to travel, obviously, it goes without saying. Temperatures are so cold, it's going to be difficult to get around, but it is travelable at the very least. Melinda, we can't skip over this. It's 11 degrees in Little Rock right now, 0 in Fayetteville and in Harrison. Wind chills over many spots, well below 0. We have wind chill warnings, wind chill advisories. This is a stretch of cold we have not seen in many years.
Yeah, I know the kids are going to go out and play. They want to today, but maybe they don't need to go out for a long time and be sure they're bundled up. Chris was just mentioning that the cars are starting to increase on the roads, too. We don't want accidents, so stay home if you can. Let me talk about that next weather maker because we'll get more model data on this today, but tomorrow night we start to see the first of our winter storm number 2 of the week. Can you believe it? Almost back to back, and this is going to be significant. Maybe not as heavy as the one we're experiencing right now, but this is Wednesday morning. You can see snow coming down, could be heavy at times, maybe an inch an hour or so for maybe a briefer amount of time than what we're seeing this morning. But this is Thursday morning, so it continues through all day Wednesday into Thursday, and again, it'll be on top of what's still on the ground from this storm. So 2 to 5 inches additional from the Wednesday-Thursday system, a little less in South Arkansas, maybe even a mix down there. 16 for a high today. Areas of mainly morning snow will clear some this afternoon, but look at that, coldest high since 1989, coldest low since the same year. Possible tonight, 4 degrees, and wind chills will be below 0 tonight for sure. Here's that 7+ forecast. We get to the mid-20s, but still below freezing all the way to Thursday. By Friday, we finally get not only sunshine, but above freezing, and that takes us to the mid and upper 40s by the end of the week. And so that's going to seem warm compared to where we've been over the past, where we will have been over the past several days. Allison.
Melinda, thank you. Coming up on Daybreak, we're sharing the latest COVID-19 numbers in our state, including the number of new cases our state saw yesterday. But first, today's number of the day is 14. That's the percentage of voters who say they will never get the coronavirus vaccine.
It is time now for our D3 Auto Sales traffic report. 6:17 is the time on this Monday morning, and let's take a look at iDrive Arkansas. This traffic camera on Interstate 30 at the Malvern exit and looking off to the west. So looking at this traffic camera, you can see there is not a car going by it at this time on Interstate 30 at the Malvern exit, but you can see why. The road completely covered with snow on both sides. It looks like we do see some lights now off in the distance approaching the camera, but it has been relatively light around the metro and well beyond throughout the morning on our traffic cameras and on the Department of Transportation traffic cameras. Here's another one from RDOT. This is on Interstate 40 in Conway. And this is at the US 64 exit. So this is traffic going past Oak Street, and traffic right now, obviously light, but the roads is what we're focused on, and they're pretty covered. How about our friends over to the east in Carlisle? There's a live look at Interstate 40, and you can see traffic is moving pretty smoothly there, but roads covered up. Please be careful. 6:22 is our next story coming up then.
She's our first, so it was definitely going to be a struggle anyway, but in the middle of a pandemic, it was even more so.
We're going to show you how new parents are handling parenting during the pandemic and their kids and how it could affect their social well-being. That's next.
Welcome back into Daybreak, and here's a live look at our news director, Nick Ginty, traveling west on Interstate 630. You can see there's another car in front of him, and we just watched another car pass by him. So there's some traffic out there, and the roads are, you're able to travel on the roads, but you can see they are snow covered and you cannot see the line. So you have to be super careful if you're one of the people that does have to get out today. If not, stay home. That's the advice from everyone this morning. We'll take another look at the roadways in just a bit and get back to your forecast. But first, it's hard to believe it's been almost a year since the COVID-19 virus completely changed our lives. Most of us hoping for the day when we can return to our pre-pandemic lives. But what if this was the only way of life you've ever known? It's a reality for babies born over the last year. And questions have been raised as to how a lack of social interaction has affected the early development of these children. You may be surprised at what one local expert has to say.
She's our first, so it was definitely going to be a struggle anyway. But in the middle of a pandemic, it was even more so.
It was really, it was It was hard. It was hard doing it as first-time parents all by ourselves and not seeing another soul and having that interaction.
The Robertsons and Williams are raising babies in isolation. Willow born just a few weeks before the pandemic hit.
It changed all our plans. It really did.
Lily born a couple of months later in the middle of the lockdown.
For her safety, I can't take her anywhere. I can't just have anybody come watch her.
Their daughters, just two of the hundreds of thousands of babies born into a world of uncertainty and stress this past year and under unprecedented circumstances.
2 weeks ago, went to a doctor's appointment, and it was the very first time we'd ever left her alone.
In 11
with another
months.
person.
The first time.
What would you say is the hardest part about having and raising a child, especially your first child, during a pandemic?
I would say personally, the financial aspect of it has been the biggest struggle.
This might be too broad, but for me, it's the just general anxiety.
Both couples say their daughters have only been out of their homes a handful of times. They've yet to get to interact with other babies and toddlers, and the minimal contact they have had with anyone other than their parents became almost too overwhelming.
To the point where she'll start crying, maybe even screaming, which is pretty heartbreaking.
She has not learned self-soothing skills at all.
Both sets of parents tell us they worry about the impact the pandemic could have on their daughter's social development. So we took those concerns to Arkansas Children's Hospital Director of Pediatric Psychology, Dr. Nicholas Long.
Could the isolation fundamentally change their personality or the development of their personality that could be long-term or permanent?
Well, we're not exactly sure because the research has not been done yet to look at the long-term consequences of isolation as a function of COVID-19. However, there's reason to be optimistic.
And here's why.
Where are you? There she is.
We, get more of that at-home time with her that we wouldn't have had.
That's a small silver lining out of all of that, for sure.
She was way ahead on talking, walking.
She's hit all the milestones
crawling.
really early.
She's already walking really well. And I think it's, we don't know for sure, but I think part of it is because we were able to have so much time and focus with her and work with her.
Dr. Long says Devin is exactly right. In fact, there are some experts in the field of pediatrics who believe the outcomes may be more positive than negative for most of the babies born during the COVID-19 pandemic.
When there is good parent-child interactions going on, I really think that in the long term, we're not going to see many significant negative impacts for young children.
Dr. Long says while this is good news, it's important that new parents take care of themselves, also noting that the mental health of the parents directly impacts the health of their children. It's something Chloe made a priority.
It's been a test on our marriage. It's been a test on a lot of things. I think we're stronger because of it, but there have been multiple times. And I've honestly, and I think this is kind of important for moms to hear and think, I had to go to the doctor and I had to get on an antidepressant.
Both couples say while the challenges of parenting babies during a pandemic continue, they're focusing now on the hope that comes with a vaccine, and that very soon Willow and Lily will truly get to experience the wonder of the world.
There's just something different about the physical, social interaction outside of the same four people that you see every day.
And Dr. Long says parents should slowly ease their babies and toddlers into outings and meetings with others when the pandemic is over. He also says that while protecting them from COVID should be a priority, it is important that they also schedule all well-child visits with their pediatrician and stay up to date on all vaccines, reiterating that pediatricians' offices are operating under strict COVID guidelines and are safe. And one other note, since we did that interview with Chloe and Devin Robertson, they have announced they are pregnant with baby number 2 due in August. They say they hope that this pregnancy and the birth and the first year of this baby's life is much different than what Willow experienced. And coming up next on Daybreak, another look at the winter weather happening right now. The time now is 6:28 and it's 10 degrees outside.
Hey, good morning and happy President's Day. It's a holiday and it's also a snow day here in Arkansas. Our time now is 6:31. Thank you for joining us on Channel 7 Daybreak.
Yeah, if they weren't already closed for President's Day today, most school districts in the state have now canceled school or switched to virtual learning. To view any closings throughout the week, be sure to visit our website. You can find school closings at KATV.com under the weather tab. And yeah, it is a big snow day for a lot of kids. They're going to want to be out in the middle of it because we really haven't seen this in quite some time. For a look at what's in store for us, we'll turn things over to meteorologist James Bryant.
Oh, thank you, Allison. A lot of people went to bed last night wondering if that was it, the 1 to 2 inches of snow we had gotten. The answer is no. Heavy snow has moved back across the state. The heaviest snow this morning just to the southeast of Little Rock. And as you take a look at Futurecast, we have several more hours of snow to go. I think by 7, the heaviest snow again to the east and to the south of Little Rock, but still snow extending over a large part of the state. Melinda, I think we still expect a large swath of 5 to 8 inches, and there could be a couple spots that see even a little bit more.
Yeah, we've been talking about the appetizer to the main course. This is the main course, I think, coming into central Arkansas right now with that heavy snow. Let's talk about temperatures quickly, too. You're going to want to bundle up, and the kids playing outside today, not for a long amount of time. Hopefully, they'll probably get enough of the cold pretty quickly. Right now, wind chills are below zero across much of the state. Here's your hour by hour. We stay in the teens all day long. We should see the snow wrap up, though, around lunchtime or a little bit after. Chris?
Linda, thank you. Keep your outside time limited. Hopefully keep your driving limited. Our D3 Auto Sales traffic report this morning. And let's take a look at this camera. This is just south of 270 and on Interstate 530 in Pine Bluff. And we've seen traffic volume low everywhere this morning, but it's moving smoothly and there are no accidents to report right now. A much different story than we were telling you just about 5 days ago when last Thursday, or 4 days ago, I guess now, last Thursday when we saw multiple early morning accidents because of the sleet and freezing rain and the ice that was on the roads. But today we're talking about snow, a little more traction, especially if you have four-wheel drive that will help you get through this if you have to. Hot Springs Bypass on 270 in Garland County. Here's a live look at it on your screen. Traffic very low there as well. Here's a live look at our 30 River Bridge camera where it's getting tougher to see that 30 River Bridge because of some of the snowfall moving into the area and slower cars moving their way across the interstate. 630 east and westbound, I assume, is all covered up. And yes, it certainly is. So be careful out there and we'll keep you up to speed on your traffic all morning right here on Channel 7.
And we turn now to the latest on winter road conditions here in Little Rock. Our Alex Birch is live near Financial Center Parkway to update you on what it looks like there. Alex, good morning again.
Good morning, Allison. Now, the snow is not stopping, and it has been more than an hour and a half now since we last saw a plow come up Shackelford Road. Now, this hill, not a lot of cars have been coming through, but cars have been going up and down the hill slowly but surely, and that's the key. You need to drive slow. The roads are covered in snow, and the snow keeps on falling. It's really difficult to see any lanes, any lines, and city crews say they're doing their best. They're asking for patience, that this is going to take longer than normal for them to clear because of these freezing temperatures. There's not going to be any melting happening that would help them normally. So they're asking anyone, if you do not need to be on the roads today, stay home and take it from me, stay inside. It is cold, cold wind. Bundle up. Back to you.
Yes, so cold that I don't think we're going to have people out as long as they maybe want to be out there because you just can't stand it for that long. Alex, thanks so much. We'll continue to update you on road conditions in that area throughout the morning.
And Little Rock Public Work crews are on standby for the next round of winter weather. That's right, we're already talking about that. We spoke with Dave Parker with the Arkansas Department of Transportation. He says crews and state police began patrolling last night to respond to any accidents that could occur on the roads this morning.
The Arkansas Highway Police, they will be out. They are serving two purposes. One, to create somewhat of a buffer for our plows and our trucks to get the job done, to provide us some space. And two, if they happen to see a stranded motorist, the Arkansas Highway Police will be there to assist.
And Parker says it's important for drivers who do get on the road to let someone know where they're going. Have an extra set of clothes or blanket in the car. Keep batteries, a flashlight, and water in case you do break down and are stuck for a period of time. Parker says fortunately the snow is not a heavy snow yet, but it could be. Means it should be plowable And he warns, though, it could take time to clear it, so be patient. Now, with temperatures staying below freezing all this week, now is the time to make sure your home is protected from that frigid air. And these temperatures can often lead to pipes freezing or bursting. But taking small steps like just covering your crawl space fence, insulating exposed water lines, or keeping your hydrants covered outside can end up saving you thousands of dollars in potential damage. Experts are saying that Arkansans should also keep cabinet doors near sinks open and make sure every faucet is set to a drip. If your pipes do freeze or burst, first step, know where your water meter is and have a way to shut it off. Then call a plumber and start the claims process with your insurance agent.
And continuing our live winter weather coverage this morning, Channel 7's Victoria Capek is on your side live at the 6th Street overpass in downtown Little Rock, Victoria. What are the roads looking like near you? Gosh, those are big snowflakes.
Allison, they are big snowflakes, and yes, they are getting in my eyes, but it's okay. We are out here for the viewers this morning. I want to show you guys, right, so we've been in front of I-30 all morning long, and I can see the road from right here. I can see the interstate, and you can see the road a little bit. I say that with caution, though. We see cars picking up in speed, and a word of caution to these cars: do not pick up in speed. It might be deceiving having these long stretches where you think you can see the road, but if you're going too fast, there is a possibility you could lose that traction and spin out of control. One more thing I want to show you here this morning is on these regular roads, right? I just learned this from experience. Follow me here. You can't really see the difference between the road and a curb this morning, right? So this is actually where the curb is. This is a grassy area, and this right here is where the road is, and you can't really tell the difference. So that said, if you're driving on these main roads here this morning, be aware of how you're turning, because you don't want to have to hit a curb and maybe spin out of control doing that. So we will be back in the next half hour with more updates. We'll send it back to you, Allison, for now.
Victoria, thanks so much, and you can stay up to date on weather in your area by following our weather team. Just go to KATV.com and click on the weather tab. Well, coming up next at 6:51, we're sharing some top stories on Daybreak this morning, including a break-in that led to a fatal shooting.
Much more snow to come, but we are seeing the back edge of it in Texas and Oklahoma. We'll talk about how long it lasts in your part of the state next. 6:41, welcome back, everybody. We're going to stay on through 10 o'clock this morning to be sure you've got everything you need to know. And as the situation changes over the next few hours, let me show you Storm Scan, because it's changing right now. Look at the heavy snow indicated by the purple and pink colors, and Little Rock is just right smack dab in the middle of all of that. Even heavier south of Pine Bluff, heavy bursts of snow moving now into Monticello, Drew County. That's going to move on over towards Deshay County, Dumas area. You're going to get some heavy snow here in a little while. We are starting to see it slack up a bit, though, in far western Arkansas. That's Mena down to Texarkana, kind of getting out of that heavier snow band. Let's go to James now and see what he's got on radar.
Yeah, Melinda, first I want to show you a live look outside at the 30 River Bridge. My goodness, look at that. The snow is coming down. It's heavy. Visibility is low. And man, it's going to do heavy. Goodness, it's going to snow heavily for the next several hours. Look at radar regionally. The back edge of the snow is getting into northeast Texas, eastern Oklahoma. This will not reach Little Rock until the mid to late morning hours. It'll reach western Arkansas sooner. But look at that heavy snow. Continues across central, southern, eastern Arkansas through 9, 10 a.m. And some of these areas are going to see snowfall rates of 1 inch per hour. So through yesterday and early this morning, we only got 2 inches of snow. Well, the rates really pile up as you go through the next several hours. Everything kind of winds down by early this afternoon, and then it is just cold. We actually broke a record low this morning of 13, set over 100 years ago. We're down to 10. It's 9 in Searcy, 0 in Fayetteville and Harrison, and that is some dangerous cold. If you're outside, you've got to be dressed properly. Wind chills below 0 across most of the state, to -17 in Harrison, -3 at Little Rock. So we have wind chill headlines in effect. All that these mean is that it's dangerously cold, Melinda. Not exactly comfortable to be outside. And I think we have another winter storm to look forward to, don't we?
If you want to call it look forward to it, absolutely. Let's take a look at our next weather maker, because this isn't the only snow we're going to see this week. The next one arrives for most of us Wednesday morning, but for northwest Arkansas, it could even be Tuesday night. And this is the 1-2 punch we've been talking about, back-to-back winter storms. This is Wednesday morning. We've got snow coming down at that time. Now, this model will change some between now and when we get to Wednesday. This is 5 o'clock, so it lasts most of the day. South Arkansas could see it mix with a little bit of sleet or freezing rain. And then in eastern Arkansas, it is wrapping up by Thursday morning. So this could last a day and a half perhaps for some. And let's talk about amounts for that. Significant Wednesday into Thursday, maybe not as heavy as this one, but 2 to 5 inches possible. It falls on top of what is still on the ground from this winter storm, and 1 to 2 inches with a possible mix across the far southern sections of the state. Well, 16 for a high is quite unbelievable. Coldest high we've seen since 1989, and the cold tonight will also go back 30 years since we've seen a low of about 4 degrees. Wind chills will all be below zero tonight going into tomorrow morning, and everything still on the ground will be there. It's not going anywhere with any melting.